Hey YouTube, that's me trying to do a video every day. It's actually quite difficult. I'm force myself a little bit, but hey, so I'll do that. We'll see how long I can keep it up for. Running through guitars that I've not seen. No, I've seen this recently, but ones I've not done a video for a while. Very bright. So this is a Westone Clipper 6. It should have a Clipper 6 written on the truss rod cover, but I bought this as basically just the body and the neck. Everything. I think it might have had the original MMK45 pickup in it as well. But everything else, the bridge is just one of these Chinese ones, which I quite like actually. It's good, it's too strong. It should have a metal bar in there, but I just stuck in ferrules like on a Telecaster. I also made a metal backplate for it, and I actually sneakily bought the Westone Mastsumoku neck plate because the Clipper 6 was only made in Japan, so it is what it is. I think the serial number would have been on the back of the headstock, but it's been sanded at some point, which I wouldn't have done. I'm not sure whether this one would have had a painted white neck or not. And the tuners are Grovers, which I got from a Shine guitar that I had a couple of years ago. Like I said, I've done a video for this guitar before, but I had it out. I put a DiMarzio Super Distortion into the Westone Raider, and it was a little bit microphonic when I was in the studio, so I swapped it with the one that I had in this one, which is slightly more microphonic than that one. Still, it's not a huge difference, it's not a huge problem. I just figured I would do it because I was wanting to mess about with it anyway. These originally came with two switches here, which turned on the two coils of the MMK45 pickup, but strangely it didn't actually do it as a humbucker, so it put them both on in parallel with each other, so you had it was a sort of single coily sound thing. Since I swapped the pickups over, I couldn't be bothered putting those switches on, so the switches are currently doing nothing. I need to connect them up. I need to find something more interesting to do with it. Last time I had it with one of them was a series parallel switch and one of them was a coil split. But to be honest, I never ever coil split it or series paralleled it, so I was always sitting there fidgeting with it, trying to work out what was going on. What I'll probably do is make them on off switches again, but just make them turn the two coils on, but this time in a humbucker mode. So you would have this coil or both of them as a humbucker. So I'm just running it as a humbucker just now. But these are pretty cool guitars. There's an advert which I'm probably going to put as the thumbnail for this video of Status Quo in a Westone advert where I think they were getting a choice. I seem to have talked about this relatively recently. I searched my YouTube channel, didn't see anything to do with the Westone Clipper. This is all seeming very familiar to me. But yeah, so I think what happened is Status Quo got asked, to do some sort of Westone deal, and I don't think it lasted very long. I don't know if they ever used them live, but in the video you can see the two, Rossi and Parfitt, have both chosen this model out of all the Westone guitars that were kicking about, because all the rest of them are sort of spiky or sort of strange looking, whereas this obviously looks a bit more like a Telecaster. It's not quite a Telecaster, this bit here is a little bit different, but basically sort of is. It doesn't sound like a Tele though, because it's got a DiMarzio Super Distortion in it. So I mean, it's not really for clean. I'm sure it'll do it though. Not sure how in tune this is going to stay. Guitar itself's very cold. It's in the attic, and so you just put my hand resting on the bridge there. It's pretty chilly. I went through this when I was about a month ago, maybe. I wonder if I did a video and didn't actually record it or something went wrong with it. But I've sorted out the frets, I've recrowned the frets and made them all perfect. So apart from the fact that I've not actually connected up these switches, this is now running better than it ever has before. The last video I did was in my last house with no mic and a lesser camera, and especially not my new super light, which is up there. So Westone kind of gave up in about 1986, I think. I think 1987 was the last year before the Matsumoku plant closed. So 1986, they were the sort of last of the Japanese Westones, and this was one of them. So as I was saying, this is the Clipper 6. There are other Clippers which have got a pointy headstock and a more, I think there's an HSS one, and things like that, but they're Korean, not Japanese anymore. I've not played one, so I don't actually. There's actually one on eBay a couple of weeks ago that I was almost going to buy just out of curiosity. It was really, really, really badly scratched and needed done up, but it actually went for a decent amount of money. So, I was thinking, I'll pick that up for 40 quid or something. I would have bought it just out of curiosity, but no, it went for more than that. Also used by the Shaman in the Ebenezer Good video. You can see the guy playing a black one of these. There's actually one kicking about Glasgow. I've seen a couple of times for sale. They're not completely uncommon guitars. I've definitely seen at least 2 for sale. It might be the same one, like locally. I believe one of them was in Irvine, on my local Facebook page. So I don't know if I don't imagine they're probably quite cheap actually when they were new. So, but very, very, very 80s. I mean, there is a time that I would have just puked if you'd offered me a guitar like this, but now I pure love it. The simple humbucker's just rocking, and the inherent ugliness of it. So I'll just make some noise. I'm playing through my wee, which I'm always doing these days, playing through my wee Laney VC15 and the Softtech, and my 3x12 Trace Elliott cabinet. I will be putting on my Mosky Rat pedal and possibly the Fuzz pedal, which I've been messing about with in the bass, so maybe put that back to, that might need to be a wee bit messed about with. Yeah, so that was it clean, so we don't want clean, we just want rags. I might actually check this in the studio Friday night, actually, just because it's cool. This does not have the same neck profile. I've said before in the Westones, like those two there, the Dynasty and the Raider, and the Spectrums tended to have the same neck profile, which is very similar to what you get on a Music Man. This one's much wider and flatter, more of a sort of Les Pauly type. My pal reckoned that if I showed up the neck up close, you can tell by looking at it what sort of dimensions it is. So there you go. There you go, David. That's what it looks like. Same as we do now, but the chorus bit, let's see what happens. Still not convinced with chorus, I like. Better without it. So this has actually turned out to be quite a nice guitar. I think what happened a couple of years ago, I was pretty good at the electrics and not too bad at setting up guitars, but what I wasn't really that hot on was fretwork. Whereas now I got a set of proper files. I think I actually got them off Josie Warman. They weren't that expensive, sort of wooden handled things. Either viewable, here we go. These files, which are sort of oldie worldy looking, but a decent file. It's great, and these wee silly metal spacer things, which you can get from China for about £1, a bit of wire wool, and actually sitting, you can get the guitars playing so much nicer. I mean, this played all right and was actually pretty good. I think I did a video of Symptom Universe playing this because at the time it was my favourite guitar. But see, once you start sorting out, it's only just a wee bit better. But when you've got the frets nice, it just makes it so nice. And I think I've got a nut file as well. So just getting all these things right makes a huge difference. It's basically what I've learnt to do. Selling all the Buckfaster guitars now, getting guitars that are basically fucked when I buy them, and then making them work. Just not necessarily spending any money on it, just spending an hour making it all as good as I can get it, and you just end up with great guitars. I mean, even like with the Bucky ones and stuff like that, they turn out really well and play so much better than what you would expect, just because they've been set up properly. Because normally when you buy a guitar for like £100, it's not playing the way it should. Whereas this is it's not a premium guitar, but it's an awful lot better than what you would buy now new for like £100-200. This would be like a sort of £400-500 guitar if it was about just now, at least. But these are sort of handmade, and just wood was better back in the day. And it's got a rosewood fretboard on it, and it's a really nice rosewood fretboard. It's just nicer wood, Yeah, so if you see a Westone Clipper 6 and you can pick one up for £100, £150, they're totally worth it if you can handle the shape, which is, it's not so much the shape, I think it's more just the whole. I mean, I can see Telecaster players just, proper telly fans absolutely puking looking at this with its single angled humbucker, no scratch plate, slightly pointy. I mean, you can argue this is almost pointy. It's actually a wee bit like the first telly, is it called a snakehead? The prototype one you see in books. It's got like a 3-side headstock. I don't think it's got a scratch plate. It's got like a metal. It's a prototype. Rock and roll.